This is Bill Hillman for Alliance for Free Citizens. We're here at ALEC 2022, and I'm talking with Tammy Nichols from Idaho, who has some fascinating legislation on a definition of what's a person. So if you could tell me a little bit about the history and why you did this.
Sure. So I decided, I had some constituents come to me and they'd been hearing about some issues going on in the United States and globally where personhood status is being given to inanimate objects and Mother Nature and non-human animals. And, you know, Idaho is a huge ag state. We have a lot of agriculture there, a lot of people that farm and raise animals. And so we felt that we wanted to kind of get ahead of this issue that was starting to take place and that we were seeing more of. And so we decided to run a personhood bill to define what personhood is not. And so the bill that we ran, it's very simple, very short and sweet, but it just basically says that personhood status will not be given in the state of Idaho to anything that is inanimate objects, artificial intelligence, Mother Nature, and non-human animals.
Now, I know you did this not just because somebody in France a couple years ago married a bridge.
Right.
So there's more protection. How does it protect farmers and really how does it protect liberty?
Yeah, well, so for instance, Oregon is a state that's right next to Idaho, and they had a provision that was trying to get passed there where farmers would not be able to breed their animals or to cull their animals because they would be given a personhood type status. And so if you bred your animals, that could be considered rape because you did not have the ability to get consent from the animal to be able to breed them. And so we saw that happening, and that was just a few years ago. Luckily, they were able to shut that down in Oregon, and so it didn't pass, but that was starting to come into play. And what we've seen also is we've seen the environmentalists really utilize personhood status in some way, shape, or form to give areas like trees or water or what have you personhood type status, and so then the states can't go in and utilize those resources, and so they're using it to keep people out from being able to use their resources.
So they're actually out there giving inanimate objects, trees, vegetation, trying to define them as humans. So this goes way beyond what's a woman.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's actually taking the rights that you and I have and actually making them less than. Because if your rights and my rights are equal to a dog or a rock, well then really what does that do to our rights? It really significantly reduces what our rights should be. The other thing, one story I like to tell is in Texas they were going to open up a brothel in one of the areas, and this brothel was going to have robots. And the robots, they wanted to give workers rights. And so even though that wasn't like necessarily a personhood status, it was moving that trajectory down that direction. Fortunately, it got shot down. It wasn't because of that. It had to do with regulation within the area. But those are the things that we're seeing transpire. And so Idaho, we wanted to get Idaho ahead of that game because it's a lot easier to stop things before they happen than it is to try to stop them during.
What a world we live in.
It's a crazy world, and anything goes. And so, you know, the states just really need to jump ahead of some of these things. It was interesting in my state when this bill was being debated on the Senate floor. I had two Senate members, one Democrat, one Republican, that were both attorneys, and they both argued in favor of this bill because of what they were seeing in their requirements to keep their education going in law. But they were seeing this creeping in on how to give personhood status to animals, how to give personhood status to inanimate objects. And so they both argued in favor of it because of what they had already been seeing.
That was my next question. Have you gotten any pushback from it?
I actually haven't gotten any pushback. Some people did try, you know, they were like, oh, this is crazy, why do we need this? But, you know, if you're looking at the big picture and you're seeing what's happening globally and in other states, it's just a matter of time before it gets to your state. So it was really a proactive bill. When I presented that bill in the committees, that was one of the first things I wanted them to know is this sounds crazy, this is a proactive bill, but here's the packet with all the information showing all these different examples that it is transpiring and we need to get ahead of it.
Wow. Well, listen, thank you. We're going to try to share your legislation with, I know I'm going to ask a couple of our state legislators in Pennsylvania to push it, but around the country. So thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.